Yeah. So this is a written check. This is your
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our latest webinar in our new series. I'm Ryan Burtram, Director of Sales Americas here at Ventrata, and I'm excited to welcome you, whether you're tuning in on StreamYard, LinkedIn Live, or YouTube. Today, we're spotlighting a powerful new connection with Airbnb Experiences. Travelers are increasingly turning to Airbnb, not just for where to stay, but for what to do. With this integration, Ventrata operators can seamlessly list and manage their products on Airbnb, keeping availability, pricing, and bookings synced automatically with no extra overhead. It's a chance to increase your visibility, reduce manual work, and tap into a global audience that's already planning their trip. So here's what we'll cover in the next 20 minutes. First, Airbnb will share an overview of experiences, what they are, which types of activities perform well, and how to get started as a host. Then Dominic from Ventrata will show you how to connect your products, map them, and manage them, your Airbnb listings directly in Ventrata. Finally, we'll wrap up with a Q&A. So joining us today, we have Trilok Mahadevia and Deja, both supply leads for experiences at Airbnb. Later, Dominic, head of partnerships at Ventrata, will cover the connectivity piece. For everyone tuning in, drop your questions into the comments on whichever platform you're using, and we'll do our best to answer them as we go. And we'll leave time at the end too. Trilok and Arian, welcome.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Pleasure to be here. All right. So let me just screen. All right. So really excited to chat with this distinguished group of operators with the amazing Ventrata team and talk about how we can help you expand your business and get in front of our travelers. So as you know, we've completely reimagined Airbnb experiences. We're going to get into what that really means. I want to start off with a quote here, right, of what Airbnb is trying to do. Just using Brian Chesky's words here, with the launch of services and experiences, we're changing travel again. Now you can Airbnb more than an Airbnb. And that's what we're trying to do with the launch of experiences and services. As you can see with that experience on the screen there, really build unique, authentic experiences that really showcase the location where you're operating in the best way possible to make travelers feel like locals. So we want to get experiences which are hosted by locals and hosted by experienced operators like yourself who know their city and this industry best, and will provide our guests with the most unique, authentic, and high-quality experiences. So we know that one of the top reasons guests come to Airbnb is because they want to travel like a local. Just last year, we welcomed almost 390 million guests and generated almost $81 billion of revenue on Airbnb through these guests. Now, we're putting experiences like yours in front of these guests as they plan their trip. So as you can see on the screen over here, as they book a trip, for example, in Paris, right below the details of the trip, there'll be experiences popping up. So you see Airbnb Originals on the left, you see popular experiences in Paris, and this is where experiences like yours will be showcased in front of travelers, and there's going to be really, really strong cross-marketing happening over here to help you get more bookings from this reimagined and relaunch that we've had recently. So experiences is not new, as you know. The key reason for the pause we had on experiences 2 years ago was that we learned that we weren't really offering anything differentiated in the market in terms of unique, authentic experiences of high quality. We've had many experiences that weren't fitting in the city, or they were experiences that were not meeting the quality expectations of our guests. So we've learned from that, and now we're rebuilding from that. And that's why we say it's a relaunch, it's a reimagined experiences platform. What we're trying to do is focus on experiences that are unique, interesting, differentiated, and high quality. We want to really adapt to the city model. So we want to offer a croissant making experiences in Paris, for example, not ramen making, right? That doesn't really fit with the city. So we want to be very specific to the city and what we're offering to make travelers feel like locals. We want to. The good news is there's no more exclusivity. So you can obviously, while using Ventrata, you can list on us and be on other platforms at the same time. And there's going to be more tools launched over the next few months to help you optimize your business, price in the best way possible. All kinds of tools to make you really, really perform optimally on Airbnb and get the most out of our platform. And the most exciting part is API integrations, right? Ventrata was one of our launch partners. They built in record time to our API, and they've been performing really strongly. So you've already made a great first step of being a part of Ventrata. This is a very strong partnership, and we're just getting started. So let's get into some trends, right? So why is experiences so interesting right now for Airbnb, and also I'm sure for y'all are seeing a big boost in business. Over 85% of travelers said that experiences and activities are an important part of travel. This is from a survey we did with Pantera recently. So obviously a lot of interest in experiences, especially from the younger generation, as the share of wallet that comes out of Gen Z travelers is way more skewed towards travel versus previous generations. I'm sure you've heard about this research in multiple publications. The most sought after experiences. So this is how we decide what we want to showcase on our platform. So you look on domestic and international, is pretty neck and neck in terms of the categories of experiences that we're seeing the highest demand in. Sightseeing, food and drinks, so food tours, nature and outdoors, outdoor experiences, tours in general, and arts and culture, right? So this is quite a wide bucket of experiences, but this is where we're seeing most of the demand on our platform. And that's why Arion is going to get into the categories that we're looking for on Airbnb to make sure we're matching that demand with the right supply. And here are the top trending destinations for Gen Z. So from some data, some surveys we collaborated with Focal Data, 80% of Gen Z respondents said that affordability plays a real role in their fall travel decisions. So you must have seen a pretty big spike in fall bookings, especially from international travelers, because traveling during fall, you get much better deals, right? So 42% believe that traveling during fall is a great deal. So I'm sure your September is looking pretty healthy in terms of occupancy, especially in these destinations. So Paris, Osaka, Dubai, this is like all over the world, all amazing places, definitely all on my bucket list. So I'm sure you're seeing really good demand trends over here. And we're going to keep sharing data like this with you all as we grow this business and see that data come in from our travelers. And now I'm going to hand it over to Arion to talk about how to tell if your experiences are the right fit for Airbnb.
Thank you, Trilok. Yeah, and this question actually comes up quite often, is really looking at your experience and really considering and thinking what makes this experience very special, and how does this really match well with a guest that may be searching on Airbnb. So the first thing to really look at here on the next slide is really the categories, which we've narrowed it down to. Now this is very dynamic, so this is something that we review every so often to make changes and even add additional categories if it is something that is popular search for on Airbnb itself. But this is a good start to really look and see if your current experience matches well with any of these categories. Now, this will indicate that that is something that is in demand on the platform. Again, the goal for Airbnb is really to have something special for everyone, and that includes anyone that may be a first-time traveler to that specific destination, someone that visits it often and maybe wants to see more of the unique offerings, and even individuals that may live in a particular city or the surrounding city that just happen to want to travel to that destination and see something that's even more specific to their liking. So that's the goal here, is really trying to find something that really is for everyone. On the next slide, we'll actually see two great examples of what really makes for a great experience. As you may already know, Airbnb is very much focused on the experience itself as much as on the operator. So we do place the operator, or in some cases, the company itself, front and center to really highlight what is the unique element of that individual or that company that's really providing that experience. And we do strongly suggest to take the opportunity to really highlight the key elements for your company or for your operator as to what makes you unique in making that offering on Airbnb. This is a great example here, just demonstrating sort of passion for perfume and really how that is highlighted. In addition to the text itself, something that's even more important than text is probably the content that goes along with the listing itself. So we highly encourage to have some very high quality content that's not necessarily placing yourself in a position where you're posing for the photo itself, but more of on a candid level to really give someone that is searching the vision of actually experiencing it themselves. And if we go into the next slide here, this is also another great example here, just really showcasing the passion of the host for the type of experience that they are offering. The next slide will speak more in regards to the criteria itself. This is something that we put a lot of work and effort in order to narrow down the types of experiences that, again, guests are searching for on Airbnb. One of the main things is in making sure that these are expert-led experiences. So we do put in a lot of effort in making sure that we qualify the operator or the guide that is hosting this experience, making sure that they have knowledge in the type of experience that they are providing, or that company has a really great focus on that specific experience. The other element to this is authentic to the city itself. This could be in various ways offered, but a good example here would be, let's take New York City, for example, and a food tour. So something along the lines of maybe a pizza tour to New York City. Obviously, New York is very much pizza focused. So a pizza tour in New York would go very well together. So that's something that could highlight and do very well on the platform. The other element and something that we focus a lot on is the idea of small group tours. Now, there has been changes made to this recently, but in general, we are looking for smaller groups. Typically, the largest number here would be about 18. Again, there is a bit of flexibility depending on the type of experience that we are offering. A food tour, for example, may require a smaller group than 18, just because when it is a food tour, obviously there's a lot more moving pieces. So you'd want those groups sort of smaller so everyone could enjoy that experience as a whole. And then the last sort of element that we look for is proven quality and performance. So if you do have that experience that you've been selling, whether directly or indirectly through other platforms, definitely consider adding that experience to Airbnb Experiences. Obviously, you've made all of the necessary adjustments to something like this in order to make sure that it is a great experience and people are enjoying it. So you might as well add it to Airbnb as well and capture those additional guests from the Airbnb platform. As far as getting started, so we'll go on the next slide here. So the first step would really be to complete the Ventrata form that will be provided to you. What that will do is signal individuals like myself and others from my team to reach out to you. In some cases, we may request to set up a quick 15 or 30-minute phone call just to understand your offering and your experiences a bit better. We'll also be able to assist you and guide you through the account creation process. So we'll create a host account for you, assuming you don't have one yet. And then in addition to that, we'll capture all of the necessary information to help start the onboarding process for your experiences. There is an approval sort of stage in between. So that does take a bit of time, and we'll talk more about timelines in a bit. But as far as the process itself, so again, it's completing that Ventrata form, speaking to someone at Airbnb like myself or someone else from my team, and then starting the sort of approval and build process for your experiences. So we'll go on the next slide here. For those of you who are existing Airbnb users, you already have experiences, whether they are currently published or maybe not published yet. Some of the key things to sort of complete prior to initiating the Ventrata API connection is go into your account, check that the listing details and content is up to date and accurate, make any necessary adjustments there. There may be items that need to be actioned, especially with the relaunch that we did in May. There may be some changes that were implemented, so just double check that there are no pending action items for you. Once that is completed, you may proceed to publishing, and again, request that API connection via Ventrata so you can make sure everything is updated when it comes to pricing and availability. This is something that you won't have to worry about by using that connection. And then if we move on to the next slide. So again, this is more on timelines. I know this has been a bit difficult to sort of get a gauge on, especially since the relaunch. Obviously, there was a lot of interest and a lot of, which led to a lot of backlog, which we have caught up with now and still are actually working on some of the tail end of that. But in general, what we are looking at is anywhere between 2 weeks to maybe 3 weeks in regards to reviewing the experiences that have been submitted, sending out the approvals for the ones that do get approved by our team, and then the build process itself, which should not take more than 3 or 4 days to complete. Once the build is done, again, remember to complete that API connection integration, and we'll just get the experiences published and made available for bookings. And then if we go into the quick start guide here, just these are more things to keep in mind with your experiences once they are live and bookable. Make sure that your availability is up to date. Again, having Ventrata play a role here. It's not something that you constantly have to go in and check yourself. This will be done for you, but just make sure that this is something that is completed. The next thing to keep in mind is, again, something that Ventrata will assist in making sure that it is constantly updated for you, but making sure that pricing is updated is also something that is key. Adding any discounts if that's something that you are offering, setting custom pricings. And then the last sort of element here, something that I highly encourage, especially prior to even publishing in some cases, is making sure that you have your communication all aligned with whether it is with quick replies, scheduled notifications that will be sent out once a reservation is made. This is something that's really important in making sure that a guest has that great experience from the start, so you could make sure that when it comes to time for a review, you'll get that 5-star rating at the end of the experience itself. And then the last slide that I'll cover here myself is just a highlight on the resource center. And if you do need any assistance, again, as a Ventrata user, you'll have many options in getting assistance. One, obviously, is the resource center. You'll be able to receive assistance from myself and individuals from our team as well. And also you have Ventrata who could also jump in and assist with any of your needs or highlight any issues that may need resolving from our end as well. So with that being said, Dominic, I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Arian. Appreciated that overview, and thank you also, Trilok. I do want to offer that I'm happy to volunteer if you run across that New York City pizza tour, and they need a guinea pig. I'm more than open to it.
I'll hold you to that.
That was a great overview of Airbnb experiences and also how operators can succeed in the platform. Now, let's look at this integration and how it works in practice. Dominic, from our side at Ventrata, will walk you through how to set up the connection, map your products, and manage everything directly in the Ventrata dashboard. So, Dominic?
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, so very quick section for me here. Yeah, if you're in that process where you already have your host account with Airbnb, you have your listings ready, and you just need to connect those listings to Ventrata. It's very, very simple process, especially for those of you who are familiar with connections in Ventrata in general. So the first step there, just like working with any reseller, is creating that reseller account in Ventrata. As a reminder, this is just a place where you digitize, right, your kind of commercial agreement with any third party selling your product. So in this case, you'll just create an Airbnb reseller profile, reseller account in Ventrata, and put the commission rate that you have in place with Airbnb there, just so that your reporting in Ventrata is accurate. So very simple step there. After that, what you need to do, you will head over to the connections section of the Ventrata, click new connection button there, where you will see our newly refreshed partner gallery. Airbnb integration will be one of those at the top. There with a shiny new logo, a new banner next to it. So just click on that, create a connection, and follow the prompts. As a part of those prompts, you will be asked to pick a reseller that you've created in the step 1 here. What is a little bit different with Airbnb comparing to other connections you may have worked on is that as a part of the process, you will be prompted, you'll be redirected into your Airbnb account, and you'll just have to kind of allow Ventrata to do certain actions within your Airbnb account. So you'll see this quick page, similar in the screenshot here, connect Airbnb to Ventrata app, and you just need to click allow there in order to complete the connection. From there on, just like with any other connections with maybe other OTAs, other resellers, other marketplaces you deal with in Ventrata, you'll just have to map your products. And that's as simple as just clicking on a product in the table you'll see on the connection page and picking a Ventrata product corresponding to the Airbnb product you're going to map. And yeah, from that moment on, your products are connected. And yeah, it's as simple as that. Yeah, back to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Dominic. So we've had some excellent questions come in. So let's open the floor to some of those questions, and I have the team here ready to answer some of those. I'm actually going to start with one that came in on the integrations and how Airbnb experiences might work or might not work with Fair Harbor. Do you have a position on that, and can you share more?
Yes, we do have an integration with Fair Harbor. They were also one of our launch partners. So yeah, I would get in touch with that team if you're interested to connect through that integration.
Great. And thank you for that question also. And then another follow-up question to that, noticing that attractions are not listed as one of the categories considered the right fit. Is there a reason for that?
So I think attractions is really broad. And if you look at all our categories, we've broken it down into different types of attractions. So attractions as a whole are definitely a part of our, is of interest to Airbnb. So I would just get into the subcategory and submit it, and then we'll see if you're a right fit.
Good feedback. And then, sort of following on to that, if you have had someone who has filled out a required partnership form a couple months ago, like in this next question, once the new API was advertised, I'm curious to know the selection criteria. Can you share a little bit more about how you select which experiences appear on the Airbnb platform?
Trilok, I could jump here and answer this question quickly. So yeah, if you have not received a response yet, one thing we do apologize for that. As I mentioned earlier in this call, there's been a ton of backlog that we've been trying to really catch up with. Now that I hope you have somewhat of a better understanding of the criteria itself and the categories that we're looking for, I'd highly suggest you complete that form again. And this is definitely something that you'll get back a response from myself or our team, but definitely suggest filling out that form again. This way we could proceed to the next stage, which would be the review process to make sure that we have the type of demand that matches the experience that you're looking to offer.
Great. And as always, you're welcome to reach out to your Ventrata account managers too, and we can help support these communications if needed. I wanted to move to the next one on that same topic, supporting these. We have a person out there, Giverson, who has started creating the listing on the platform, but so far, most have been declined without the exact reason provided. Following the standards, is there any advice you can give on setting up the product?
Yes. So right now, the form would be the best place to start the process of getting an experience listed. Reason for this is because we do have a very manual review process on our end. So in order to complete that flow, we need to have the experiences submitted through the form itself or through myself and one of my team members. This way we get it over to the team that actually does the approval. Without the approval, and again, the approval here is just making sure that there is demand for the type of experience you're looking to offer. We want to make sure that once the experience is set live on Airbnb, it's very likely that reservations will start coming in for that experience. So again, we're really focused on getting those experiences that will perform well from the start, which is why we have sort of this system in place when it comes to approving the right type of experiences initially.
Great. Thank you for that clarity. And I see another follow-up from the same person that I won't share here, but perhaps you can follow up directly on building out and setting up an actual product with them and maybe best practices. So we'll relay that information so that they can have contact. I want to move to Delcia Rubio, who had a question. Basically, they started as a group of 3 offering tours. Now we have grown and are a small company. Would you recommend we change our public profile and say we are a company? And would that affect visibility?
So that's an interesting question. And I think the way I would look at this is more on the experience element itself. If it is an experience that you think is more attractive towards first-time travelers to a specific region, having a mention of the company on the profile itself would be great advice, I think, just because it adds more credibility to the type of offering that you're making available. Profile photos do work very well just because that human interaction, sort of initial connection, helps in conversion. That's something that we definitely have found. But yeah, I would definitely start with really analyzing your experience offering and then making a decision whether this is something that a first-time traveler would sort of take, or is this something that is more applicable to someone that visits your region often and is sort of familiar with the region itself. From there, you can make a better decision on what information to include on the profile level.
Very good. Thank you. And again, Delcia, we'll follow up with you on that question, and you're welcome to reach out to us. I have time for just one more question, and this would go to the 3 of you, from Maria Jose Lopez, who asked, do you work with dynamic pricing?
So currently we don't work with dynamic pricing. We absorb whatever pricing comes through Ventrata, but this is definitely an area which we're going to, as I mentioned before, we're working on all kinds of tools to help you optimize your experiences and get the most out of our platform. It's definitely on our roadmap to include that in the future.
And kind of to add to that, so in Ventrata, we actually, if you're referring to dynamic pricing as Ventrata fares, right? So that is something we are able to push today already. There are some limitations, so some more complex configurations just don't work with the current kind of API setup. But most common dynamic pricing setups that you can do using Ventrata fares, right, our kind of built-in functionality, we actually are able to push to Airbnb in near real time. So it's just a bit of a push model. So Ventrata pushes those updates to Airbnb, but it's something we already can support for most of the products on Ventrata specifically.
Excellent. We hope that answers the question for you, Maria. We will provide written responses to all of you. So thank you for these questions that you've submitted. We will take these for follow-up after the call. I do want to take a moment, though, and I want to say thank you to Trilok, to Arian, and also to Dominic for joining this call today and inviting us along with you. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. I want to thank everyone that tuned in. we'll send again a follow-up email that has resources in the recording for later reference. And if you're a Ventrata customer, please reach out to your account manager. You can contact us directly at ventrata.com contact, as you see on the screen. And if you'd like to contact or work with Airbnb, we also have another link for you at Airbnb Experiences, Host and Experiences. Now, before we wrap up, a quick look ahead. Our next product webinar is going to be on combating web checkout fraud. And then the one following that will be sharing some insights with our joint research partner, Get Your Guide, on the OTA advantage. So stay tuned for those updates. That's it for today's session. Thanks again. And we look forward to seeing you on future webinars and then also on Airbnb Experiences.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.